Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Because usually I'm like, hello, 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 or good evening, good evening, good evening, where it's good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Certainly for us in the UK. I am joined by two amazing people today. We've got Celia and we've got Andrea. And so Celia and Andrea are part of the Wellness for Women bundle that's currently live at the moment, where you can get over, I think it's actually about 37 gifts, but it just was easier for me to sort of say over 30 or over 35 gifts for free. And so I'll make sure that the links are for that for anybody who's catching this live or on replay. But it was just an opportunity today for a couple of us to jump on, let you know a little bit about the bundle, let you know a little bit about the participants, what it is that they're offering, and a little bit about themselves predominantly. And as I was just saying to Celia and Andrea, it's all very informal. Anything could happen. I've got a cat over here, so I could end up with a cat bomb. And it's all fine. It's all good. This is all the joys of being an online entrepreneur. And I did say that I was coming in a little bit hot as well, so I haven't even got the screen together that I wanted to share. So very quickly, for those who don't know me, I am Faye Casement. I'm a life coach and I'm also a belief coding facilitator. I'm the host of the Wellness for Women show, which is a podcast, which is the Wellness for Women show, life, weight loss and everything in between, which is on podcast and YouTube. And also there's a blog, which is all the show notes. My passion really is helping women to ditch restrictive diets, one bite and one belief at a time, in favour of weight loss for love. So it's basically about ditching points, ditching calories, that kind of thing for me, more about intuitive style eating. And generally, as I'm sure you guys will both resonate with, obviously the more we sort of find ourselves, things like food tend to follow suit. And so it's a very holistic approach that I've got. And with the life coaching is obviously quite a conscious process. And then I've got belief coding, which is an unconscious process. So I help people with both sides of that coin as well. So shall I go left to right? So on my screen, Celia, do you want to just introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, what you do, and then we'll move on to Andrea just while I try and find the page.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, first of all, Faye, thank you for this opportunity, because sometimes when we're in bundles like this, we're just names on a page, not even a page, on a screen. We're names on a screen.
Yes.
And I popped a little email out to my tribe earlier, just say it is so nice to meet, even if it's virtual. It's so nice to meet the other people that we're working with, because that's what we're doing in this bundle, and I just love that collaboration. It can get lonely as a solopreneur, especially if it's all online. So that's my thank you first of all.
No worries.
So who am I? I am Celia Barsby. I am an author and a life coach, transformational coach. My heart is for women who want to do things differently, that are done with doing things the same old way, you're tired of being, well, for me, it was being told what to do and doing things the same way that they've always been done. And so it's very much doing things differently. My book is lurking behind me, and also here is The Garden Party. And my program that's my philosophy. This is my journey. I share my journey, and then I invite you to reflect on your own journey. And that I will talk about free gifts and things a little bit later on. But just, how do we move through this thing called life? And I talk about reawakening to your soul purpose. And I love that. Yes, have I had quote unquote weight issues? And you go, well, yeah, but it's because you don't know who you are. And so, the foodie bit comes in there. So I love the connections. I love the synchronicity and, the interaction between us all as we start to weave all of those. It feels quite magical to me. So that's that's who I am, and I look forward to sharing a little bit more about Garden Party as we move through.
Thank you for sharing, and that definitely resonates with me. I mean, for me, what my weight loss journey gave me, and like I say, I tend to use it in quotes, or try to put quotes everywhere in the written word and in everything, because I say I'm very much a firm believer in health at every size as well, and we all get to do what we want to do with our bodies, kind of thing. But it is that life journey, isn't it? And what it brought me, as well as obviously working on my relationship with food, actually was my purpose. I found my purpose, I found my interest, and effectively plodded for 40 years. Not knowing about this amazing thing called life coaching, and that that your thoughts lead to your feelings, lead to your actions and your beliefs. And it's just like, how did I not know this? So I'm very much with you there on the purpose. How about you, Andrea? Tell us all about you and who you help.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here. I have to tell you that I'm really, really excited about this. This is actually my first bundle. So this is absolutely new and so very exciting. Yes. And as Celia was saying, not being just a name on a screen, it's really, really important. And especially for me, because I'm a voice coach. I usually avoid the term of coaching. I consider myself more of a mentor, because that's how I feel. I feel that I'm coming from my story and I'm guiding women in their life, in their story. So it's not coaching. That sounds so cold and so meaningless. So it's more like mentoring. So what am I? I am a half Hungarian, half Romanian girl living in Spain right now. Love brought me here. I'm with a Spaniard, and we are having a we are having a 2.5-year-old little daughter. I became a mother after 40 again for the second time in my life. And my journey went from a very shy girl who was barely opening her mouth, and I could relate to Celia about do this, do that, shut up, don't say that, that's not for a girl, girls don't say that, girls don't behave like that, and all those things were in me. And interestingly, they were very, very, very much located in my throat. I was very easily getting sore throat. I was very easily catching a cold always. They were always saying that, yeah, she's sensitive and she's always catching a cold, and my voice was always bad. And as a musician, in a musician family, having to sing almost all the time, that was a real problem. And actually, my journey was very unconscious at the beginning. I had to reverse engineer it when I woke up to this. When I started to be a little bit more vocal after my 30s, when women usually start to have a little bit more confidence, I realized that I'm not so sensitive anymore. I don't catch so many colds, with the air quotes. And that's when I started to ask questions. Why is that? What's happening? I cannot be just healthy all of a sudden. This is not something physical. And indeed, it wasn't something physical. It was all the repressed things that I was not saying, not being in contact with my voice, not having authenticity, always behaving the way others were expecting me to behave. I've been always the ideal daughter for my parents, even in my teenage years. So, but after 30s, that backlashed. it was a tough 30 plus. And basically, that's what I'm trying to give to my fellow sisters. I want to give them the journey and the connection that they can have with their voice and with their authenticity, and to accept themselves and to be compassionate with themselves and to just be themselves in this thing called world and life. So I was saying I'm a musician, I'm an opera choir singer, former opera choir singer, and now I'm giving the gift of voice to anybody who has a message to share, and I think we all do.
Absolutely. I think I agree, actually, and I quite often say nobody's going to tell your story if you don't, and it wasn't till I kind of grew in the confidence and found my purpose that I started to find my voice. So although I don't actively talk about voice, if that makes sense. I completely resonate with that, absolutely, as well. And interestingly, my journey's evolved from, I say, coming into it through life coaching. I think that is always difficult as to what to call yourself, isn't it? You know, are you a coach, or you a mentor, are you this, you that, and the other? And sometimes you're a jack of all sorts, I think, a jack of all trades. But the belief coding's brought me more into the more understanding on the metaphysical and how our bodies and our minds are connected. And I'm also learning Reiki as well, which is about your chakras. So therefore, obviously, your throat area. And so in the metaphysical, there's all the throat and everything as well, isn't it? And I think as entrepreneurs, there's also the you know, there's a lot of, even if it's not like active speaking, voice showing up in your written word, and, you know, like, let's say, sort of being able to tell your story, your messaging, visibility, you know. So again, it's the kind of work that probably all of us do. It goes kind of across, well, whatever it is that you're working on, really, isn't it? You know, even though we might niche, whatever you want to call it, into certain areas. I just like to put niche just for a bit of a spin. And so our voices do matter, you know, and sometimes we go through life thinking that they don't. And again, I was somebody who had very low self-esteem ever since I was sort of seven or eight, all the way through my 20s. Like you say, started to come out of myself a little bit more in my 30s, where I started to not really give two monkeys, but it was my 40s. So it was definitely a life begins at 40 for me. I know it's hard, and then 21, obviously, to look at, but yeah. So I love that story. How does that resonate with the two of your stories, Celia? I don't know if you, obviously, I've been yabbering away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just nodding all of that. You know, I think it's really interesting. One of the things that, you know, a lot of my work is involved with the energy, because that's what we are. We are energy. And absolutely, Andrea, I've been in teaching all my life. Not necessarily just in a traditional school setting, but I'm always teaching and mentoring and coaching. And so I love that. Well, you know, who am I? Well, actually, I'm a teacher, you know, and I always smile when I say it, but if you work with me, you'll get homework. You know, you will have some work to do, because I can't do it for you. You know, and that's the thing, when we put ourselves out there and we say, yeah, actually, I want to do this work, because our soul is here, in my belief, our soul is here to learn. We sign up for this life in the things that we want to learn, and we learn by the things that we can't do. So, and that's always a bit challenging. I mean, we've been away for a few days, and it has highlighted a number of things that we can't do. We're about to move to full-time van life, to living in a motorhome. And we went, oh, well, this is the dress rehearsal, you know, and you go, well, okay, if that was the dress rehearsal, I hope we're going to have a good opening night. Because, and that's the thing, you go, oh, what is it flagged up? It's flagged up for us, and this is true for life as well, the things that we want to change, that we want to do differently. And we go, oh, well, that could go more smoothly, more easily. You know, how do I make those fine adjustments in discovering what this thing called life is all about? I love the synchronicity of the timing. I believe that, you know, I think we've got a range of decades here, because I'm in my 60s, and we have chosen to be here now at the age that we are. So for me, yes, I had my big breakthrough when I was 40, which the world called a breakdown, you know, and I was, quote unquote, ill. And you go, and I look back and I go, no, I wasn't. I wasn't ill. That depression, the experience I had, was part of my growth journey of waking up and going, right, actually, no, I'm not going to do things the way they've always been done.
Yeah, and sometimes that is just our body's way of telling us there's something wrong, isn't it, in our emotions. I did a masterclass this week in Natalie Trusdale's membership, who's one of the other bundle contributors, on overwhelm. And obviously when you're in the midst of overwhelm and feeling those feels, it can feel very much like you can't find a way out. But actually, for me, overwhelm is just a sign that there's something that needs to, you know, it's just, again, your mind and body saying, hold on, there's something you need to look at here. There's a discomfort, and then we work through that discomfort. But it's one of those things that unless you work with somebody and start doing this work, you don't know that there is a way through, isn't it? Like I say, I didn't know there was a way through. I was somebody who in my 20s, I would probably say I've always been a bit on the you know, had a tendency towards I say depression, low self-esteem. And then when I had my daughter when I was 28, I had postnatal depression. And then I've definitely had a couple of times where I've burnt out. But I didn't, you know, they talk about, you know, like if you go for counselling, so I had counselling, I've had CBT, you know, along the way, and they always talk about your toolbox, but nobody ever actually gave me the tools. Nobody ever actually explained. It's like they sort of said, well, here's the toolbox, here's a spanner, here's a hammer, now go away and sort yourself out. And nobody told me, you know, where the, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the analogies I'm going here, you know, nobody knew where the nails were or how it went together. You know? And it wasn't till I kind of say found life coaching and belief coding that it's kind of like the toolbox has got together, and I now know how to use the tools from working with people, you know, like and properly working with people and learning the processes. So it's like so I've got a membership. I don't just want to be there and coach people or mentor people or, you know, and like say do the work for people. Almost it has got to come from within, but I also want to give people the tools and the learning to learn, or almost the craft themselves, and to build their own path, rather than, I say, you know, every time I went for counselling, it was kind of like I didn't really feel like I was doing it. Almost it was like the person was my crutch. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whereas I want to give people the tools to be able to do it themselves. And that doesn't mean to say that you don't obviously still need support, but there's a difference between somebody being that crutch and somebody walking alongside you as you do it. If that makes sense.
Definitely, yes. I mean, one of my teaching roles in that life was I taught upholstery. I'm an award-winning upholsterer, and I taught it's a very creative skill, and it's absolutely that, you know, here are the tools, and you go, and yes, I'm going to show you how to use them, because if not, you could give yourself a nasty nick, you know, hit your thumb with the hammer, and people have done that, and you go, oh yeah, okay, so I have learned, and we learn through, I don't want to use the word adversity. I mean, part of my work is very centered on the language we use towards ourselves and about the work that we're doing. But I have it's all golden, magical keys here. So I have a magical key 5, which is called Going Through the Mill, and that is the symbolism, the analogy of an old-fashioned water mill, where, you know, you've got these enormous grindstones that are crushing the grain, and it's noisy and it's dirty and a little bit smelly, and without doing that work, you don't get the flour from the grain to make the bread which sustains you. And, you know, it's one of the keys that is a bit less comfortable, and you go, oh, you mean I got to do some work again? And you go, yep, you've got to do some work again. And I use these tools, if you like, these keys, to say, oh, that's what's happening at the moment. You know, so
yeah. I always say
I can relate to both of you. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you go. I think there's occasionally a little lag as well,
both of you. Yeah. So, and I was saying I can relate to both of you, you Faye, about being the crutch, but not handicapping the person to be dependent on you. And Celia was talking about teaching, and my previous life was basically teaching for more than 20 years, and I'm the daughter of two teachers. So yes, I'm also very pro homework, but since I'm coming from the music realm and I was teaching violin, I'm more into the practice. So I'm giving exercises more like, and these sort of things that not like with the homework, of course, because it's not about that. And also I was always pro giving tools to the person to be able to figure it out by herself. And when I was teaching violin, my first and foremost goal was to teach children to read partitions by themselves, to be able to be put in front of a partition and be independent. And I was having a lot of colleagues telling me that, Andrea, but you're not interested in a long-term relationship. You don't want to earn money long-term. I said, yes, I do. But then don't teach them to read partitions. So they always come to me. I said, but that's wrong. I can't do that. That's against me. I never did that. I was always happy to just let them fly and see the ecstatic look on their face when they were able to do it themselves, because that's the thing. When you get the tools, as Faye was saying, and you're able to start using them and everything, you have all those light bulb moments one after another when you are in the possession of those tools and you are being able to use them. And that's also what I'm doing in my mentoring now. I'm also giving tools, because I don't believe that people have to be handicapping around me. That's not what I want. I want empowered women who use their voice with confidence.
Yeah, I think we're probably all wanting our the ladies and people that we help to, again, it's helping them to grow their beliefs, isn't it, in whatever it might be that they need to grow their beliefs in. And I always call it grow through what you go through. I don't know, I think somebody famous probably said that at some point, but I always hang on to that, really. And again, even that realization that there is, because again, you've got all these phrases, like say, language is so important as to how we use it in everything that we do, isn't it? And like things like there's light at the end of the tunnel, and there's gold at the end of the rain, but whatever it might be. But I don't think we sometimes actually embrace that, that the journey is actually what is important. And although, like you say, we can feel really a lot of discomfort in some of the things that we do go through, but there can be a gift in whatever it is that happens. It's just knowing how to find it and where to find it, and if and if you need to, getting the support to find it, isn't it, really?
Definitely. I love the authentic piece in there that Andrea was talking about, that we can, as women in business, we can be told that, oh, well, you must do this and you must do that, and you go, if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't sit right with you, then no, it's not. I mean, why on earth would you not want the women, the children, whoever it is that you are mentoring and enabling, to not give them all of the information so they can't do it on their own? I mean, that's it's bonkers when you start thinking about it. I've got kids.
Keep learning.
Yes, yeah. You want them. You want independence, surely. It was interesting, actually. I was reflecting as I was contacting my my tribe and saying, I was coming on here live, and hopefully some will find their way over to the group to actually watch. And there's a tendency with a bundle like this to go, right, you've got 37 amazing gifts, and I've been there. I've been there, I've done this. And you go, oh yeah, and I'm just going to sign up for everything. I want all of it. And I always say to people, choose the ones that really resonate. There's this amazing buffet. and you can put everything on your plate. It's the food analogy wants to come through today, I think. But, you know, it's an all you can eat, and you go, yeah, and what's going to happen? You're going to leave half of it on your plate, and you're going to go, why on earth did I pick that up? And that's not a good energy to be in. You know, I think it's so important that you come with an open heart and an open mind, and you know, to have the opportunity to connect with some of the contributors, you know, see what we're doing, and go, oh yes, actually that one, and it might be the graphics that you like, it might be the words, something will leap out to you, and you'll go, oh, I'd like to know more about that. And you know, you don't have to sign up for everything and then go in 6 months' time, who is this emailing me? Why have I got that?
That is certainly one of the dangers of a bundle, almost, is that you sign up and then you all of a sudden you're on 37 email lists, and you're getting a bit tired of all the emails. I have tips for that. Maybe I should put that. Maybe I should put that on the page somewhere about having a special bundle email address. So don't use your normal one, but have a special one. You know, create a Google folder of bundle, you know, Joe's bundle email or whatever it might be. But I think it's one of those, isn't it? Like you say, people can grab everything, and then, like you say, the risk is that they either then get so overwhelmed they don't do any of it, or they do sort of you know, like you said, have a little nibble at the buffet as they go, but never really complete any of them. And I think what I might do in future bundles is, so because, like you say, I am a hoarder of all things learning, and certainly if there is anything free going, I'm also a little bit of a bargain hunter. I'm a bit of a spreadsheet queen, and so basically I have a spreadsheet, and so everything I grab, I basically put it into a spreadsheet, I prioritize it, but it's always there, because the thing with again, everything that we do, like you said a little bit before, was about time of life, isn't it? You know, so although I might not, so I did have a little laugh with some of the ones the other day, in a good way, because I was sort of reading it, and it was about, you know, things that are just not for me in my time of life, basically. Dating and babies, basically. I was kind of like, I'm happy in my fear, being a single woman at the moment. I'm not in for that. I was like running for the hills. But that doesn't mean to say that I couldn't grab that, and then, you know, maybe in 6 months' time, when I'm an empty nester and my daughter's gone to university, I may want to date again, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I got that dating course, you know. So it's about them also not going forgotten, I guess, like you say, you know, knowing who's who, and tiny little bit of organisation, and that can also be done, and also the overwhelm as well, because then you know that you don't have to do it all at once. You've got that little bit of prioritisation. So I may just do that. I might just pull that, because I've got my own spreadsheet, so it's done effectively, and I'll pull it out and maybe do that as an extra gift if I can get myself together before the bundle ends.
I'm a great believer as well in that things will come to your attention when you need them. I'm sort of having a big, you know, clearing out physically and mentally, and the laptop included. And I was going, what, you know, the folder, and you go, what have I put in there? And some creative and some artistic things that I signed up for. And you go, oh yeah, actually that is interesting. I'd forgotten I'd got that resource. And so, you know, what do I need to take from the resources I have at the moment, and what am I tucking away for later? You know, I'm packing up some things that I know I will use in the future, but I may not use in the next year or two, or maybe 3. We haven't decided yet. But you know, what do I not need? What am I not carrying forward? So it's it's an interesting, you know, what do we do with these things? Are we going to use them?
Yeah, and it's just that discernment, isn't it?
Sure.
And Andrea, you said that this was the first bundle that you've participated in, but have you have you been on the other end? Have you grabbed bundles before, or is this the first time you've seen a bundle?
Yeah, no. I know what a bundle is,
You know
and
what a bundle is, so you don't grab
I
it.
am one of the hoarders of the bundle.
Yes.
I am one of those who enters in a bundle, signs up for the things that, okay, I find them interesting, but it's never less than 2 or 3. And then I have 15 or 20 tabs open on my laptop with all the pieces open. I go through them and I basically immediately decide which are the keepers and which are not. And the ones that are not, I'm immediately unsubscribing. In order not to gather digital dust there in somebody's email list. Maybe I give hopes and I thicken the numbers that might be a lie for the person. So I don't want to do that. And yes, I keep the ones that resonate with me, and most of the times I end up buying at least an entry level smaller program from them, because that must be something that I'm really interested in. But I also have a corner for the creatives, because I like crocheting. I like working with leather. And actually, during pandemic, it's interesting how we speak about the life before pandemic and life after pandemic. In the life after pandemic, I learned how to hand sew leather shoes. And I can sew my own shoes. And I have quite a thick folder with templates for leather barefoot shoes. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. I love crafting as well, although don't do it as much as I used to, but so I love all of that we've also got a commonality there in craft. I used to make amigami crochet critters. I don't know, like whatever it would be, like rabbits or something like that, rather than sort of blankets or anything like that. And done all sorts of stuff, like craft booking. I've got sewing, you name a craft, I've probably done it. There's not much that I haven't done over the years, and again, definitely gone down the rabbit hole. I also did this amazing thing once called Life Book by Tamara Laporte. I don't know if you've ever seen her or you've done her thing. I bought Life Book. And so again, a bit like you, Celia, I got about halfway through the year, because it's a year-long life book, and each week you get an art project. And so I've got a load to do. But again, I'm not going to throw them away. I've still got the links, and I'll go back to them when I'm ready. It was just different phases of life and priorities, I guess, isn't it? Really,
to me, creativity is a way that people say, we talk about what's your superpower, and I say that one of my superpowers is I move energy with color. So I use creativity, I use paint and color and crayons and just a colored pen, if that's all I've got, to actually process emotions, process feelings, process thoughts. So the methodology is, I think, probably the right word, is called cosmic smash booking, which is why I talk about being your cosmic soul guide. And that is a very intentional creativity. So each month in our membership, we have a live call where that's what we are doing. And it allows us to integrate everything that we're learning. So this isn't about creating pretty pictures. This is, we can have a page that just looks like mud, and you go, well, that's actually where I am at the moment. I am in the mud, and that's where we start that's where we plant the seeds. That's where we start to really do some of the shadow work that is part of it, part of the learning. But when we connect with our inner child, who loves to play with color and paint and whatever medium that is, then for me, that allows us to really access the subconscious. So we're doing that through creative play.
Yeah. I like that. Like, say, the inner child and creativity is so important. And I've done a bit of like you say, sort of smash booking and different bits and bobs like that, and I love the idea of like art therapy, and I would love to do something like that in my membership eventually, where it kind of brings all sorts of things into it. So it's really interesting. Again, and obviously with yours, Andrea, you've got that creativity. You bring in the music, I guess, if nothing, or
yes,
art
yes. In our women circles, I started to do. We do draw, okay. So it is part of what I do. It's not a main activity. We like journaling, and speaking about journaling, journaling is a very good mental health tool to use. But for me, it didn't work, and for a long time, I thought that it's something wrong with me. And although I was recognizing its benefits, I was not being able to sit down and write for a long time until it clicked that actually for me audio journaling is my thing, and I started to do that, and that's what really worked for me. So if somebody has problems journaling, just know it's nothing wrong with you. You might be able to try audio journaling. It's basically the same thing, but you speak and blabber, and I realized that I can connect better with myself and with my thoughts if I just have the opportunity to just speak it out. And that helped me a lot. And we also do that in the women's circles, because I'm also a women's circle facilitator. And Celia was talking at some point about the words we are telling ourselves. Self-talk is also a very important ingredient in what I do. And I utilize my knowledge from NLP, because I'm also an NLP practitioner. And from there, I have a list of some words that it's okay to be avoided, and replace them, and that also makes those clicks in our brain, which helps us build new neural pathways for the new habits that we are trying to integrate. So yeah, it's all more about sounding, more about speaking, more about, we have sound healing moments, we have silly moments when we imitate animals or sounds from nature, and yeah, more fun with the sound through from my musical background.
Yeah, but again, it's all different methods, but still, again, so connected that all do sort of very, very it's all working on the same kind of things, basically, isn't it? I'm trying to get my words out, but yeah, and again, I just love that. I mean, for me, I get my creativity at the moment through the writing posts, writing the show, and delivering the show, and the creative, sort of the graphics and the playing in Canva. I mean, I could spend hours in Canva, obviously, so I enjoy that creativity side of it as well, which I think's helpful, to say the least, when you're trying to have an online business, for sure. So yeah, but I love all of that. Shall we tell everybody about the gifts that they can get from us? So Celia, do you want to tell everybody what gift you've popped into the bundle?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things where I wanted to start with is really the story. In the previous live that you did, so you were sort of going through all of the gifts. You mentioned that it sounds like there's a story behind it, and there is a story. The story is really a love story, which was my parents were married slightly later in life for their age, for their generation. But my father gave my mum a gold charm bracelet on their wedding day. And then each year he bought her a charm that went on the bracelet that represented their year and had some symbolism behind it. And I knew that story. That story had been told, I would sit with my mum and the bracelet, and we would go through, and that was the year, I liked the year I was born because it was a little treasure chest. I was the treasure in the chest. That was my favorite. That was my favorite charm. And when I wrote The Garden Party, just one of those synchronicity moments. So I was talking to my writing coach. The gold charm bracelet came to the fore, and because we were talking about, well, what is my philosophy? How do I package my teachings together? And I got the charm bracelet, and so each of the charms has a symbolism for my program. And the first charm is a St. Christopher. That was the symbol that my dad chose for my mum as the start of their journey. And so that is my gift, the start of the journey, which is based on, do you know where you are now? Do you know where you want to be? Have you got permission to go there? Do you have all of the resources you need for your journey? And I love this key because the timing of this bundle is very beautifully connected with what's going on in the cosmos right now. If you're into astrology, I am not an expert, but I will just say this: we've just had the new moon in Aries. Now, Aries is the start of the zodiac year. So this bundle that Faye has launched right at the start of the new zodiac year.
I completely intended that.
Of course. Well, I knew. Well, that when I because and you go, no,
stars aligned. I just didn't know that they were aligning.
Yeah, it is, and I love it. It says the alignment of this, and so when I was looking at because I've a few bundles, and I don't give the same key. For because otherwise people go, well, that's just the same, there's no advantage. So the key for this one, I went, oh, how perfect, with new moon in Aries, start of the year, this is the start of the journey. It also lines up with my own program, which my membership has just launched, and so we are working this whole month with the start of the journey. And it's because we keep starting, we actually start our journey every month. The opportunity to say, right, where am I? What is my intention for this month, for this next moon cycle? Where do I want to be at the end of this month? Have I got everything I need? Do I need resources? Do I feel completely overwhelmed? And so I'm going to use the tools in my toolbox. Because this is what we're all about, is that growing and developing. And sometimes we just need to check in with ourselves and say, oh, yeah, I said, this time last year, this is where I wanted to be. Have I wandered off my garden path, which I do regularly? And it's just that opportunity to come back and say, right, this is what I want, whether it is in our business, whether it is in life, in our relationships. So that is my gift. It's a little mini online program. You've got a meditation in there, a creative activity, and of course a workbook with journaling prompts to work with. And just an introduction really to the beautiful graphics, which are not my own, are very much part of the garden party.
Yeah. Lovely. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And obviously, thank you for sharing that beautiful, beautiful gift with everybody. I think, I mean, again, that, like you say, that journey and knowing exactly, start on a similar journey, but in mine, like I say, I think the journey starts that way, but it's just so beautiful, isn't it, to figure that out. And again, for years I never even looked at anything like that, and it is so important for people to do that work, and that is where it begins, that start of that journey. And of course we all know that sometimes that first step can be the hardest, isn't it? But then obviously once you've made it, once you've taken it, you're always glad that you did.
Yeah. And I mean, the first thing we do is talk about permission. There's a beautiful permission slip that you get, because you get to give yourself that permission. And when you can do that bit, then actually your journey has started.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the psychological resistances that we can have, isn't it? Not giving ourselves permission, not feeling that we've got the resources, safety, obviously, that it's safe for us to do the work, safe for others to do the work, and various other things. Beautiful. How about you, Andrea?
Well, my gift for the bundle is called The Art of Mindful Communication. It has to do with the voice, of course, and how we communicate. And I felt the need to share this because in the moment you discover your voice and you're thinking about authenticity and all the feelings that were kept down there, they want to bubble up. And you can end up in the other extreme of arrogance and of throwing fire in all directions and actually pushing everybody away. And that's why the art of mindful communication came up as a means to try to balance things and not end up in that other extreme where I've been. I've been there in my 30s. That's how I came out from the other part. And interestingly, this idea of the bundle and a wellness bundle also challenged me to look at the voice from the perspective of using it as a tool for well-being. And actually, on this bundle, when you sent me the email that I'm accepted in the bundle, besides the thrills of joy, a new idea came to my brain that Andrea, you never actually did anything with your Women's Circle facilitation certificate, and I love to be in women's circles and create women's circles. I've been in other women's circles. I co-facilitated others, but never on my own. And I said, this is it. This is it. I have to put the voice together with a women's circle, and this is what I was always looking for. And that's when the idea came up. So thank you, Faye. you were the one igniting it.
Yeah.
And why did it also come up? Because there is the reason is why I never learned how to swim, and the connection is that when I was 5, I was signed up for swimming lessons, and my grandmother was religiously taking me to the swimming lessons. Every lesson I was there. I was liking the warm water and to be there and to make some movements, but I was always holding on to the bar. I was never trustful enough to let the bar go. And so we got the floaters later on. I was having the floater in one hand, the bar in the other one. I was the only child who was not letting the bar go. So my instructor thought that, okay, I am the perfect candidate for a tough exercise. He actually caught me and threw me in the water. And I didn't know how to swim yet. I was not having any floater. And I even now remember the horror of having water all over me. I started to hands and feet move, everything. I remember a few times holding on to the margins and my fingers were being pushed back. And I thought I'm going to die. And I got so panicked, so scared. Even now when I'm watching the TV, if there is something, or National Geographic, there is something underwater life and the camera goes underwater, I feel the need to fill my lungs with air just to be sure that I'm not drowning. Even when I'm taking a shower, I'm not allowing the shower to shower directly on my face, only with my wet hands. So that is somehow a trauma. The same thing happens when you push somebody on a stage to speak without having the tools, without having the preparation, without having all those things. And so I was thinking that, okay, I am a public speaking coach, but before that, I need to give a safe space to these women in order to where they can grow that confidence and where they can try out those tools that I'm giving them in an absolutely safe space, in a place where things don't go out from there, because this is the idea of the circle. What happens in the circle stays in the circle. And that's when the idea came up, and I'm so excited about these circles. I'm so excited about gathering women in these circles, and it's amazing what actually the gift you gave me, Faye, by having me in your bundle is more than just having like free gifts there in the bundle. Is also this amazingness about this idea about gathering women in my voice circle. So thank you.
Beautiful. Oh, you're welcome. That's made my day hugely. Because it's, again, it's one of those things as entrepreneurs, again, you know, we put a lot out there to the world and we don't often hear back as to how we are. You know, obviously we know what we do and help with our clients, but even then, you know, so actually to hear that is just beautiful, to know that, you know, again, I've helped to make a little difference there, even if I didn't know I was doing it. So amazing. And obviously you are in the free group, aren't you? The collaborative, the Wellness for Women Club group. So make sure that you post in there as well, you know, when you've got your circle ready to go, because again, you know, there's a lot, especially in the entrepreneur space, I think, as well. And I'll be definitely looking forward, and I want a firm update as to how these are going, seeing as though this is the start of it all. And I got very excited, actually, if you didn't watch the live. I did get excited when I came across your mindful communication one as well, because my degree's in human communications. And so mindful, you know, sort of my journey took me very much into mindful communications, and sort of, again, knowing how we work, I've become so much more observant about human beings and human nature and how we tick, and so then that's changed the way that I communicate, and it changes the way that I work with people in my corporate life as well as my normal life, and obviously in how I help people. And so mindful communication, definitely very important, runs through, again, communication key to all we do, isn't it, really? Celia, bless you, look like you've got some kind of wasp or bee going on in there. I don't know what it was. It was giant. I saw it come across.
Yes, did you see it? It's huge.
I did see something giant. So
yeah, and it's interesting.
Should you need to?
No, it's really interesting, because I'm always interested about the symbols that are around. Whenever
animal symbology is really quite interesting.
There's always something, and I'm going, well, you're really interesting, aren't you? And she has been around, but has just sort of landed on my cup. But there was a heron flew over as well, which, I mean, and I'm not near a lake or, you know, well, I think it goes. So you're going, oh, okay. So, you know, there's some symbols. So if you're into animal symbolism, I can't quite decide if it's not a bee. It's a very large wasp. It's probably
like
just
a hornet.
Could be. So, but it's my husband that is completely freaked by wasps. So he would have been out of here.
I used to be, and then somehow I managed to calm myself nowadays. But with the belief coding that I do, sometimes we can bring in animals, spirit animals, and we obviously ask the subconscious what it is that they want, and sometimes we bring in. So a donkey tends to be with mine, and I'm a doer, I'm a worker, and so the strength of the donkey and everything kind of coming in. A heron, it says, is strength, purity, and long life. I'm just trying to see what a hornet and a wasp is. It's always interesting, because again, when you're working at the subconscious level, seeing the metaphors that come out as well, and the symbolism and everything like that. And I would say that I'm becoming more aware of my spiritual side as a result of that. And again, it's very much, again, obviously this holistic part of, you know, what I do now, that's sort of like that mind, body, soul, but always really interesting that, again, the animals always fit whatever it is that that you're doing. And so
that word awakening keeps coming, I think, you know, just in this conversation. Which is interesting.
I definitely feel like I had an awakening when I grasped all of this. It wasn't necessarily, I guess it wasn't spiritual in the typical sense, I guess, but I just felt so much more alive, so much more connected, and then the belief codings really helped me to take that to a much deeper and level and interest wise. You know, again, like I say, we're all three of us clearly lifelong learners as well, and that sort of zest for learning absolutely came back, because again, you go to school, so go to school, I did my degree, yes, I learned things, so I'm an employment law consultant by day as well, so you have to obviously keep on top of employment law. So again, although I'm not a teacher, I am a trainer. but this, this all this sort of self-development, that's the Reiki that I'm learning, all these things, it's just all coming together, it just all enhances our life picture, really, doesn't it? So but yeah, it's beautiful. And again, I can hear that with your swimming analogy, Andrea, was they've got so many kids, unfortunately, got literally thrown in at the deep end. And again, we've got a phrase for it, haven't you? That you're thrown in at the deep end, because literally probably all these poor kids were, and obviously that impacted you. That I'm not trying to sell to you, but that's kind of what we work with can work with in belief coding, because we can go back and we can we can help you to release those. And it's so powerful to be able to do all of these things to help people, isn't it? But yeah, beautiful gifts, ladies. It has been an absolutely beautiful chat. Very, very quickly about mine, because I can get so roped up in other people that I'm not actually doing anything for me. So mine is the self-love workbook for weight loss, because for me, diet culture, it's all really about coming at food and movement half the time from fear. And I think love is a far more powerful and sustainable motivator. And so it's about trying to change us from fear to love, really. Always get Tina Turner stuck in my head. What's love got to do with it? Everything. And also there's a free month of my membership as well. So the tier 2 membership, where people can actually come get access to my whole course. Like I said, I tend to give away the farm. And also there's 2 lots of group coaching. So twice a month I do group coaching as part of that. And so that's what my gift is, should people want to grab that. I'd also say that I will be hosting another bundle in the summer. My intention is to effectively do one a quarter. And I do absolutely love the connectivity. And like you guys said, and you might not realize this yet, Andrea, but it is quite unusual to network and have a group to network with. Usually when I've put in for bundles, I was putting these applications in and I didn't really know what was happening. And I've still got work to do in terms of my communication when people first put in those application forms and everything. But it was almost like it would go off and then all of a sudden you just get told, here's the link. And then that was it. I didn't know how the page was doing. There was no communication again, really. And it frustrated me not knowing, because I couldn't tell how well my gift was doing if I didn't know how many visitors were coming to the page and all that kind of thing. Which is why I share the stats daily. So again, if you're an entrepreneur watching this and you want to take part in bundles and you want to take networking opportunities, drop me a message, come join the free group. We're about 89 people strong in there now, but I'm obviously wanting to grow the group. And yeah, I mean, I've got more plans in the pipeline for it as well in the future. I'd like to be able to do like competitions, and my plan actually this time was, but I just didn't get myself organized, was to do sort of an affiliate type thing where whoever promoted it the most got like a free belief coding session or something like that. So watch this space on future ones. And so again, watch out for another bundle coming in summer. And obviously you ladies are very much more welcome to take part in that. So get your thinking caps on as to what your gift will be for that one as well. But yeah, I love connecting in and talking to you all. And again, I'm planning to do some actual networking type meetings in for that group as well, periodically, maybe like a month or so, just for us all to get on and have a chit chat about how things are going, because it is always good to connect in with other people, isn't it? It's what it's all about, is that connection. So,
yeah. Lovely.
Well, we're nearly at the hour. I wasn't particularly aiming for a particular time, but seeing as though it's coming up for it, absolutely makes sense to look to leave it there. I tried to drop the link. I don't know if it only went to my page, so I'll have to go back and view my profile. As I said to the ladies who were on, that watch out for them, sharing this on to their, so if you're in Celia and Andrea's audiences and their friends, hello, it's very nice to meet you. And obviously if you're in mine, make sure you go follow Celia and Andrea as well. And likewise, ladies, wherever you find this on my profile, just make sure that you comment underneath it so that people can find you easily, rather than me tagging you. But other than that, I think we're nearly done. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me.
A lovely way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Meeting new people, always beautiful. Right, I'm going to end the live. So thank you very much, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Bye.